Hi everyone, welcome to Bible Reading with Ariel. Today we are reading Proverbs chapter 14. Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucks it down with her hands. He that walks in his uprightness fears the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despises him. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeks wisdom and does not find it, but knowledge is easy to him that understands. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when you do not perceive in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knows his own bitterness, and a stranger does not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Even in laughter the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believes every word, but the prudent man looks well to his going. A wise man fears and departs from evil, but the fool rages and is confident. He that is soon angry deals foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich has many friends. He that despises his neighbor sins, but he that has mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do they not err that devise evil? But mercy and truth shall be to them that devise good. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tends only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. A true witness delivers souls, but a deceitful witness speaks lies. In the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. In the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalts folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. He that oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he that honors him has mercy on the poor. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous has hope in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of him that has understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causes shame. So there's a lot to unpack in this chapter. So I want to go and read a couple of the verses that are in here and just talk about them briefly. So I want to start in verse 1, where it says, "Every wise woman builds her house, but the foolish plucks it down with her hands." And when I read this one, I just think about God's heart for us as women. And so many of us today do not know our value. God wants us to be wise and strong and confident. And when we encounter God's love, we're able to see his heart for us. He shows us the beauty that's within us. He opens our spiritual eyes, which in turn opens our natural eyes, and we start actually believing that we are truly worth loving. And the more that we build up that relationship with the Lord, the more confident we become, because the more we know him, the more we begin to trust him. And the more we begin to actually believe that he's on our side, which empowers us just to do anything we put our hearts and minds to. And it's wonderful. So then I also want to look at verse 12 and 14. It says, there is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the ways of death. And then 14 says, the backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. So these speak to the understanding that God's way is better than our way. Speaking about everyone now. So we often become too prideful and arrogant to really accept that God's way is better. And I just think about how many of our choices as the human race have harmed this world. That, then imagine if every choice was taken before God and, we heeded his word. Just what a difference this world would be today. So I also want to read verse 19, which says, the evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. Now, much of Proverbs has us thinking about what's on the outside, what's visible, what can be seen in another person, what can be seen in ourselves. But I believe that verse 19 speaks to what we can't see. And that is the evil working in the world. That is Satan and all his little minions having their way with people, and people not even knowing that it's happening. Which, then personally, it shifts my focus and my heart from, I'm reading the Proverbs and, oh, I know someone who's like that. Or, I'm reading it and thinking, woe is me, I'm like that. And then it shifts my focus to praying for other people, repenting myself and, guarding myself against things so that I'm freed up to pray for those people. Because there are so many people who are under the sway and the influence of Satan and need to be delivered from that. So then in Ephesians 6:12, it says, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the evil places. So keeping in mind that, as we go through the Proverbs, that it's not always about what we see, that there are battles that are behind what we see. The enemy is trying to have his influence in people, and we can see what's going on the outside, but it takes that prayer and that discernment to see what's going on behind it all. And then that's where we can focus our prayer, because God always goes to the root of what's going on. And when the root of what's going on is addressed, then the outside starts to change as well. And that was one of my early prayers as a born-again Christian, was asking for that discernment. And I would just like to encourage you to ask for the same. So then I'll end with verse 26 and 27. And it says, in the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. So take this to heart today. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. He wants the best for us. And have a great day. Bye, everyone.